Dearest Mother Mary Joseph, we have arrived in Manila. The air is heavy and sweet, and we wonder what God will ask of us here. I look at my sisters, tired from the long voyage, yet our hearts are full. The people smile as we pass. We cannot yet speak their words, but somehow we already understand their welcome. Dear Mother, when we first stepped onto the pier, I felt the ground sway, not from the sea, but from wonder. Could this really be the place we were sent to love? We carried with us only books, habits, and hope. The classrooms are small, the children eager. Every lesson is a bridge between our worlds.
Their first school was simple. Wooden desks, open windows, no fans. But the sisters said it was full of grace. They taught reading, writing, and prayers. But the most important thing they taught was kindness.
It was the American occupation. We were the colony of the United States. It was Archbishop Michael O'Doherty who asked the sisters to come. Because it was our first time in the Philippines, we had to borrow sisters from Hong Kong. Because the Hong Kong mission was the first mission of the Maryknoll Sisters outside the United States. So because of Archbishop O'Doherty, who asked Mother Mary Joseph if sisters could come and help in the education of Catholic teachers, because at the time, the Americans came here, and the American teachers were called the Thomasites because they came on the ship called SS Thomas. And many of the Americans who came here were Protestants. So Archbishop O'Doherty was kind of concerned that, there were no Catholic teachers. And that's when, he asked Mother Mary Joseph if she can send sisters here to train Catholic teachers. And I can imagine when they came here, they had to talk to the authorities how to establish a normal school, and then how to get teachers, how to look for a place.
I think for missioners, and this is true to all of us, whether you started in the 1900s or now, is to really be able to speak the language of the people. So one of the biggest challenges is, of course, getting to know the people and, of course, understanding them. That means we need to understand their language.
The third grade, a Maryknoll sister came to our classroom, and she told us about her work in China. And I said, one day I'll be one of those.
It was the best years of my life. My adult life was in the Philippines. All my friends are Filipinos. I guess what happens is you become closer to the people you are sent to. When you come back home, it's a strange country. That's how I felt when I came back in 2021 in October to stay here. It was like a foreign country.
Among all the Maryknoll sisters, I have become very close to Sister Helen Graham. Although she wasn't my teacher, she already started teaching after I graduated. And then when I came back and taught, and then especially when I was already college dean, she would come and sometimes she would tease me. And I enjoyed that because we liked each other. Up to now, I am part of a Zoom class. For many years, we would meet once a week on the Bible.
Home to me was Philippines. All my friends are Filipinos. I don't have American friends except for Maryknoll Sisters because I wasn't here long enough. So I'm still in touch with them. It doesn't go out of your system. It stays with you.
Dear Mother, the school has grown. More young women come to learn not only teaching, but compassion. They will soon go out to teach others. It is our joy to see them bloom.
They called it the Malabon Normal School, a place that prepared teachers for the nation. The sisters planted seeds that would grow for generations.
The sisters came in 1946. And during the 15 years from 1926 to 1941, about 15 years, they had at least Malabon Normal School, St. Paul Hospital, they had St. Mary's Hall, they had Baguio. They started a guest house in Baguio, and they also started a school in 1933 in Baguio. So they at least had four different missions in the Philippines then at the time.
I was in Africa first, and then I was sent to the Philippines. And I was there for 6 or 7 years. And I went to teach at Maryknoll College. It was a very good college and had a very high reputation.
It was around that time, this is in the mid-60s, late 60s, when there was a lot of crises that are global in its perspective. You know, the Vietnam War was just kind of in its end. There were a lot of demonstrations, active demonstrations among students and people around. And there was also a heightened racially motivated rioting, both in the West Coast and the Midwest. So for me, being a Filipino who went through school, you know, with no stop and having sort of a sheltered life, I think that was an awakening moment for me that, gee, my world is not as pretty as I thought it was. And I was really intrigued with the idea that the church is the people of God. I mean, I grew up and I was socialized in both school and church that the church is the clergy. And so if I'm part of this church, what can I do in a very active manner that also speaks of what God's mission is about? So I wrote to a number of congregations, mostly congregations that had a medical service because that's my training. But it was Maryknoll that really grabbed me, so to speak. I was reading this article about a Maryknoll sister, an African-American sister, that was assigned to Tanzania, and she was laughing. You know, this picture is just so lovely. She was so joyful. And it just kind of struck me. I said, what a joyful group. Whether our mission is in schools like Maryknoll College, I think those values of joy and peace and justice have rooted even in the institutions that we were in.
I remember the theme of the Maryknoll Sisters, "In God We Love and Serve." So that was very high in my memories of them, and also in the way I work, I perform at work, in the way that I do my job. The second one that I remember very well from them is this sense of joy in serving. The Maryknoll Sisters had this sense of humor, this joy, this love of what they were doing, without being so boastful about it. It was just the way they are. Many of them were young, and so they related to us with joy of being with us and working with us and teaching us. So those two things, a sense of mission and a sense of joy.
They were fun, all right? They were very casual, but very respectful. You know, when you talk to them, they were joyful and they respected you.
It's just not a one-way street, just us doing our ministry, but two ways. We learn from the people, and they learn from us.
Dear Mother, war has come. We hear sirens in the distance. We stay with the children, praying for peace. Some of our sisters have been taken to camps. We share what little food we have. Still, we trust in God's mercy.
During the war, the sisters were imprisoned at Santo Tomas and Los Baños. They cared for the sick and comforted the afraid. Even when freedom was taken, their faith remained.
War was from 1941 to 1945. And American sisters are part of the Allied nations. So all of them became prisoners because Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. And then also the Japan came to the Philippines. They were taken to UST. They lived with the sisters in the Assumption Sisters. And eventually, on July 7, 1944, they were taken to Los Baños. And there was a camp there where about 2,000 Americans and other allied people like Dutch. Our parish priest was also there, Jesuit priests. They were all there in that camp. And they were all guarded by the Japanese. Okay? They stayed there until February 1945. So if you have July until February, that would be about, 6-7 months. And before they were released, there were American paratroopers who came to save them. And the other instance is in Baguio. Of course, the Japanese already knew that because Douglas MacArthur said, I shall return. So they were expecting that Americans were going to return. When the sisters heard that they could go down to safety to Tuba, there were 3 sisters in Baguio, Sister Carmencita, Yuna, and Hyacinth. Sister Carmencita and Yuna were in the advance party, and Sister Hyacinth was in the back. And when they checked on one another, Hyacinth wasn't there anymore. She was going to maybe go to the bathroom, but Gregorio, who was with them, one of our helpers, she couldn't find him anymore. And they tried to find her. Even the American forces came to find her. They couldn't find her. So she's presumed dead, April 5, 1945. So there was a lot of toll on the Maryknoll Sisters because we get caught in the geopolitical situation, between the Japanese and the United States. Yeah.
Dear Mother, the war is over. The school has been damaged, but our hearts are strong. We begin again with joy. We teach in borrowed rooms until the new buildings rise.
After the war, they were able to rebuild. Okay? They went to Lucena, they went to Lipa, to Pakil. Then also they went in Davao. They helped the Maryknoll fathers and the bishops who asked them to establish schools, So there were a lot of graduates. And in 1936, 10 years after 1926, when they established the school, they went to Manila. And they were like a pilgrim school. They went to different places until they came here to Katipunan. In 1953, they built this long building. They were able to buy land from the Jesuits, and they established this school. In fact, at that time, the Maryknoll Sisters would go from here to Manila, and one of the sisters was telling us that they would pray in the van because they have to get to Manila in time so that they could teach, and then they go back again, like that, before the grade school was established here.
After war, we know that there's so much destruction, especially in the education part of the country, of the people. So I think the Maryknoll Sisters saw that need, to pick up from what they left pre-war and then after the war.
In 1952, they moved to Loyola Heights. The new Maryknoll College rose from the ground. Each year, it grew by spirit and strength. And when it became Miriam College in 1989, the same light remained.
Fast forward in 1976, that was 50 years after we came to the Philippines. The Maryknoll Sisters decided they would turn over Maryknoll College to the lay administration. And that was it took about 13 years to change the name. So it became Miriam College. So the sisters saw the promise in the graduates, in the alumni, that they could also continue the mission of the sisters.
When a mission reaches maturity, they should turn over the administration to the lay. It was something we welcome, all right? It was a recognition that we have grown up the way they wanted.
I was elected president in 1987, and my first big challenge was the change of name. We were reminded by the Maryknoll Sisters of New York that the change of name was part of the deed of donation, and that we have not yet done it. We tried to appeal, but it was not reconsidered by the sisters. So we had to move, and we made use of the participatory management style that we learned from the Maryknoll Sisters. We started by explaining, in particular to the alumni groups, about why the name had to change. And then after that, we encouraged wide participation in the search for the new name.
The hardest for me that I cannot forget was when the sisters required that we change the name of the school that we couldn't use the name Maryknoll anymore. I was college dean then, and so the reaction of the alumni and some parents, all right, was so intense. Whereas the Maryknoll Sisters just wanted to let us grow on our own.
It was a serious responsibility. That was what we felt. Here we were asking the sisters to give us the school, and they did. And so we were almost shocked that now we have it. And so we have taken that responsibility, that sense of responsibility very seriously. Some of us rejoiced, many of us cried, because really at that time it was something that we did not expect to happen. The sisters turned over the school to the Filipino community, to the foundation, lock, stock, and bar. The land, the building, the program, the reputation. It was a gift to the Filipino community. It was something that they were saying to us, we believe in you. And that was an honor for us. And there is no other foreign mission congregation that has done that. And that is a rich legacy that we are very proud of. They were proud of us when they turned that over to us. And then we are very grateful that we are able to continue the school 50 years later. and to continue the work that Mother Mary Joseph said to us, there is great work to do.
The legacy of trust by the Maryknoll Sisters to Miriam College, to the alumni, that they will carry on the mission of the Maryknoll Sisters. I think that's foremost, because after 1976, then the sisters started to prime, to motivate, to encourage the alumni to continue the mission in the Philippines.
I think they would be most proud of how courageous the local community was. Here they were without formally training us, but we stepped up to the challenge of managing a school. And they would be very, very happy to see that young women whom they had trained, whom they had educated, were willing to carry forward their own mission of education.
I think first they would be most proud of our physical expansion. We're now in 3 campuses. But more especially, I think they'll be happy about our products. Our graduates are highly respected. They're well esteemed. Maryknoll Miriam graduates show or demonstrate the concern for society, especially being socially responsible.
The Maryknoll College students of the past, who are now in their 60s and 70s, they all did wonderful work. They got jobs with the UN or with various kinds of human rights groups. They didn't go out into the corporate world and become rich. And they learned it from not from me, these were sisters who preceded me. But that's what they learned at Maryknoll, to go out and do that kind of work. And so I think I would tell Miriam College students today to do the same, not to be wanting to become wealthy, but to see what you can do to make society better.
I was guided by words of Sister Miriam Thomas Thornton. And this is what she told me: take the problems not as burdens, but as challenges and opportunities. I would tell the Miriam students that they're in a place where they could really expand on their values of truth, justice, peace, and integrity of creation. These are the values that you need to tackle and understand, and also critically think of solutions that will answer our global problems.
So you are beloved of God and you are endowed with many gifts. All you have to do is to listen to the times and the opportunities when those gifts are awakened in you. Be who you are, because that's what is the most important thing that you can give the world. Yourself, your love, your Spirit of God.
Well, to pursue their studies as well as possible, to try to be a good student, and then to be open to their vocation, what they were going to do afterwards, if they were going to take up teaching as a ministry or whatever, to do it the best they could.
What I would like most that students will remember about this school is that, first of all, that this was started by the Maryknoll Sisters back 100 years ago. And today, that we continue to teach as a school the core values of the school, which is truth, justice, peace, and integrity of creation. So if I ask the students today, I hope they're very conscious of that. We got those values from the sisters.
The Maryknoll Sisters came here. They left their homes, their families, their friends, things that are familiar to them. And they They live lives of service, listening to others, so that others may live.
Dear sisters, thank you for your light. What began as Maryknoll is now called Miriam College, a name that honors Mary and every woman who said yes to God's call. Your letters are written in our hearts, and we promise to keep your light shining.
Across the sea, they heard a call to teach, to serve, and to give their all. With faith as sails, belief as guide, they came with love the world could not hide. These are the letters of light, words that still shine through the night, hands that planted dreams in our days, and hearts that showed us the way. These are the letters of light, carrying hope as they fly. In every classroom, in every prayer, their love is always there. Through war and peace, through joy and tears, the love they shared outshined the darkest fears. And every heart they came to guide still carries Christ's light inside. These are the letters of light, words that still shine through the night, hands that planted dreams in our days, and hearts that showed us the way. These are the letters of light, carrying hope as they fly. In every classroom, in every prayer, their love is always there. These are the letters of light, words that still